Hello, I'm so happy that you are here today. I am excited about this training. This is going to be an extremely helpful and insightful, I hope, training for you as well as for your child who is potentially going into high school or into college rather in the next couple of years. So, what we're going to be talking about today is the 5-step college enrollment blueprint. And basically, what this will do is provide 5 simple steps that you can take today to prepare your child for college enrollment in the future. So my name is Ashley Jordan. I am a teacher. I am also a strategic partner of College Choice Today. And College Choice Today offers college consulting and online assessments. So just kind of before we get started today, I want to just go over some of the details that we'll be going through, as well as details on how you can contact me following the training. So any free downloads will be sent via email at the end of the webinar. Please make sure that if you have any questions or concerns that you email me directly. I'm here to help you and your child find success in their college and career endeavors, and so ultimately I'm here to help you. That is my goal. That's my first priority. So if you have any questions or concerns, that is my direct email address at the bottom of the screen where it says support. If you would like to interact, so if we don't get to all of the questions today, we do have a few that we'll be going through, picking at some people who have questions that they're sending in during the training. But if you, let's say, did not get your question answered and you still have something that you need help on or clarification, etc., please feel free to email me again at the email on the page. So I wanted to just take a second, introduce myself. I am a teacher. I teach science. I am a teacher first and foremost. It truly is my passion. I love teaching. Education is such an important component in all of our lives. And knowledge, I believe, fundamentally is power. And so if we have knowledge, we can make informed, insightful decisions that can lead to success. And so that is why I am in this field. That is why I'm a teacher, and that is why I'm in college consulting, because I want to help families make the best and most informed decision for their child's education. So I really just want to make sure that you know who I am, my background, and ultimately that I'm here to help you and your child. So I believe fundamentally that the system is broken. The college system, the higher education system in America is extremely complex, it's very expensive, and it prices a lot of families and parents, children, out of the higher education system that we have. And so unfortunately, many families simply cannot afford to send their child through college. If they do send their child to college, oftentimes they themselves take on debt, or the child will have debt themselves. Now, a lack of information is also one of the contributing factors to why I want to help. I want to provide more information and more resources so that parents and families and students can make the best and most informed decisions, so they know what's going to work best for them, and so that ultimately they can save time, money, and hopefully everybody's sanity along the way. And so that's what we're going to be talking about today, some actionable steps that you can take today that will help your child get enrolled into college, and then again, helping you save time and money, because that's really what we are about. And so education, as we all know, is so fundamental. It is foundational to success. And so if we can have access to education without crushing debt, without massive student loans, without having all of the complexity added into it, it can really help us achieve our goals, and it can help our children achieve success in their lives. So the secret to success is to be ready for your opportunity when it comes. And ultimately, college is an extremely important opportunity that many students try and attempt, and unfortunately, they don't always complete it. And we're going to be talking a little bit about that. And so this is something that the programs that we offer at My Education Connections through College Choice Today really help to provide information, access to information, and resources so that students have a clear plan, a clear focus, so that they can achieve their goals. And so that's really what we are about. So let's introduce the problem. As we know, we see on TV, student loan debt, it's crushing the news, right? Over $1.3 trillion. So it's massive. So there's problems with finances And really, there's problems too with the system that students are going into. Believe it or not, only about 57% of students who enter college actually graduate, actually get their degree. However, the majority of them aren't graduating in the normal 4 years. They're actually taking 6. This then leads to thousands more in tuition, fees, book costs. That doesn't even include room and board, a food plan potentially. So this could be quite a burden if they have to go extra time, 1-2 years more than what the normal 4-year degree once was. So a contributing factor to why only 57% of students are graduating and why most of those that are graduating are taking longer is because 80% of college freshmen that enter into college are undeclared. They do not have a declared major, meaning they don't have a clear plan, a clear focus. And there's this sort of idea that it's okay that if you don't know what you want to do when you get into college because you'll take a bunch of classes and you'll figure it out. And that's great if you have a lot of money that you can spend that's basically just disposable, right? Because you're going to be taking classes potentially that are not related to your degree field, to the degree that you need to get, to your career path. So if you want to just take classes and kind of figure it out, you're going to end up spending more money than you would if you had a clear plan and a clear focus. Now, the average student loan debt is about $30,000 for the average student once they graduate. Now, it could be less, could be more. Again, this is an average. Now, with that average, that equates to approximately $300 per month for 10 years. So, if a student graduates high school around age 18, they graduate college after the 5 or 6 years, potentially 23, 24 years old, they start paying 6 months after they graduate, they'll be paying well into their 30s, 34, 35 potentially. This is crushing. A lot of students, they finish college, trying to find a job, they're trying to get an apartment, they're trying to pay bills, they're trying to buy food, they're trying to pay for insurance, they're trying to pay for a car. There's so many costs associated just with life. And so having to pay an extra $300 a month can be quite a burden with this student loan debt. And so that's one of the main issues that a lot of people are facing is they're getting this degree, they have all this debt, they're not really able to find a job that is able to then afford them a decent life with having to pay that $300 a month. Another huge problem that families are facing, and that can be quite crushing to them, is the increase of tuition each and every year. So we are experiencing in the US a 12 to 20% increase on the cost of tuition each and every year. That's not every 5 years, not every 10 years, that's every single year we're experiencing that. So if your child right now is a freshman or a sophomore, if it's a 20% increase on a $30,000 a year school, you could be potentially seeing around $6,000 every single year. So by the time they actually get to college, it could be $12,000, $18,000 more than what it is right now. Not to mention, while they're in college, it's also increasing. And so this can be an astronomical number that parents, students are paying for their college education. Double-digit increases each and every year. They don't stop once you start. Now, there are some colleges that offer programs where they do sort of a tuition freeze, and that could be something to absolutely look into, but many colleges don't do that. Many colleges and universities are simply increasing each year. So, career prospects are huge, all right? So we know that there is a huge difference between a job and a career. A career can provide growth, potential for success, potential for the student to move up. And so one of the things is the career options that are available right now, pretty dismal, all right? A lot of times students are getting done with college, they have this student loan debt, potentially around $30,000, they're having to pay $300 a month, and they're not really able to find a career that they can go into where they're making a good amount of money. And so they end up moving back in with mom and dad, and mom and dad are still paying a lot of their way. So the career prospects are really something that I think students need to start focusing on because ultimately college is an investment, and you need to look at what is the best return on your investment. I know most families do not have $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 that they can just throw away. They can just burn and go through. And so if you were to have that amount of money and you were to invest it, you would want to do some research. You would want to have a plan. You would want to make sure that this is a good investment for that money, that it's going to have a reasonable return on your investment. And that's how college needs to be looked at. We kind of need to flip the script a little bit. And instead of just saying, oh, college is this time to explore and figure out, who you're going to be, that's a wonderful thing. And that's absolutely an aspect of college, but it can't be the only thing that college is. It also has to be looked at as a investment. It has to be looked at as something that students are going into to eventually get out of to make money and have a successful, fulfilling career. They're doing something that they love while making money and being able to support themselves. Because ultimately, that's our goal as parents, as teachers. As an educator, it's my job to teach students how to think and be productive members of society. And so with that, they need to be able to go off onto their own and support themselves in a career that they love and that they find enjoyment out of, fulfillment out of. And so that's our goal. And that's what we help to do at My Education Connections in partnership with College Choice Today. So the consequences of these problems, the consequences of the double-digit increase in tuition, the consequences of the $30,000 average student loan debt are pretty devastating for families. Many families are finding that their students are not completing their degree. And it's important to think about this, that they're starting a degree, but they're just simply not finishing it. So they potentially went to college for some amount of time. Could have been just a semester, it could have been 2 to 3 years, and they simply did not graduate. So they still have potential debt that they're having to pay on, even though they don't have the degree. Because again, they didn't have a clear plan, they didn't have a clear focus, they didn't go in knowing what they wanted to do, and so they spent this money and not finishing the actual degree. So not getting that return on their investment. So the crushing debt is something that students are going to have to pay back. So this is a lasting and serious consequence that families really need to think about when they're looking at colleges and options. So ultimately, I think as parents, as teachers, as students, as families, as a community, as a country, I think we're kind of a little bit overwhelmed, frustrated, helpless, unheard, disheartened. I think those are some words, please email me, if that's kind of how you're feeling. I would really love to hear it, because I know I am. And that's why I'm excited about this program, because I feel like this can really help kind of get us past these feelings of just frustration and helplessness. People need to be heard, and students need to have access to a good education that can give them bright futures. That's what I want as an educator, and I know that that's what you want as a parent. So please, like I said, send me some emails, send me some stories, questions that you have, please, get engaged. And I mean, really, let's start having a conversation about what's going on, and here are some solutions that we offer. And so what we're going to talk about today are 2 solutions that My Education Connections in partnership with College Choice Today offer. So I'm going to be talking to you about the 5-step college enrollment blueprint and the personalized college pathway, which is basically taking this enrollment blueprint and going a step further. And so we're going to be discussing this today and how these are solutions to the major and devastating, crushing problems, really, that American families, students are facing today. So today we are going to discover 5 crucial steps for enrollment preparation for college for your child. So these 5 steps are academics, performance, preparation, specialization, and presentation. So the first one that we're going to discuss is academics. What I want you guys to think about is high school trajectory. The strength and rigor of your child's academic program is extremely important for their enrollment prep. Colleges want to see that students are going beyond just the basics, just the regular classes. They want to see that they're taking honors and AP classes, especially in subjects that the student is interested in. And so it's very important that they see academic rigor within the student's coursework. This is considered of very high importance with admissions officers. They like to see challenging curriculum, that the student took initiative and was determined and dedicated to their coursework and did well in those advanced classes. So, determine areas of interest for your child. What I want everyone to do with their student is to sit down and discuss interests, subjects that they want to excel in, that they're interested in, that they like, that they enjoy, and have them take classes that are advanced in those areas. Okay, high school is a wonderful time to really figure out what are you interested in, what are you not interested in, even middle school. Okay, so if you have a student that's in high school and that's why you clicked on this, and then you also have a student that's maybe in 6th or 7th or 8th grade, that's a great time to really start honing in on those interests. Okay, and to start looking at what does my child really like to do, and let's have them try some stuff out. And so now they can try this stuff out when it's not costing you thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, right? They're kind of figuring out what they want to do without the huge bill at the end. So this is a great way to kind of really get them interested. Maybe they say, I really like math and science, and I really am interested in STEM careers. Okay, get them enrolled in the after-school STEM program potentially. Have them take the advanced science classes, the advanced math classes. It is extremely important to also note that it is not necessary, okay, in all circumstances to take all AP and honors classes. We don't want to overwhelm students into a coma, right? We don't want them to be so stressed and so overwhelmed with school and all of the commitments that they have that we're not promoting balance, because balance is very important. And so it's important to note that we want to focus in on interest areas and we want to focus in on the overall coursework. So if the student is struggling in a particular class, it may not be necessary for them to take AP and honors for that particular subject. But in the other subjects that they tend to do better in, absolutely, take those honors and AP classes. Now again, these are general guidelines. This is not a specific, okay, every student has to do this. It's going to be different for your child, but it's really important that you look at and individualize for your child what plan would work best for them and what classes would be best for them in terms of the academic rigor. But it is crucial that the student does sign up for these rigorous courses throughout high school, not just 1 or 2 years, but their entire high school career. It is very important for admissions officers to see that they registered for this rigorous and challenging coursework, especially in courses that interest them. And when we get into specialization, we will talk a little bit more about why this is important, but this could be in anything. It could be math, science, journalism, English, it could be art. Something that interests them, it's important that they see that, they were very interested in these classes, they challenged themselves in these classes, and this is key, they did well in those classes. Okay? They're getting good grades, they're excelling, showing dedication. So it's really important to focus on. The second step that we're going to discuss is performance. So there's sort of this idea that, okay, I know, my kid has to take hard classes. They have to take honors, they have to take AP, has to be rigorous, I got it. So they're taking those, we're good. But they're getting not so great grades, okay? It's a two-sided thing, okay? We have to understand that grades do matter. Believe it or not, they do. Colleges know, just as we know, okay, that past behavior is an excellent indicator of future behavior. Colleges see how is the student performing. So if they're taking these rigorous classes, they need to be doing well in these rigorous classes. So it's important that we understand that the grades in these courses do matter. The grades in all of the courses matter. So performance grades in courses is considered of high importance, just as the academic rigor of the courses. This demonstrates to college admissions officers responsibility and commitment to their education on behalf of the student. And we know that actions speak louder than words in any situation. So admissions departments have pretty complex formulas where they look at the high school that the student is graduating from, their individual grading policies, and then they factor that in. So they're able to look at, because a lot of times there's sort of a debate on, does weighted GPA matter or does unweighted GPA matter? And kind of the difference between the two is that weighted GPA takes into account the academic rigor. So classes that are AP or honors are going to be weighted a little bit higher than the regular classes. So it's important to understand that many universities, they see that they understand that there's quite a disparity between various high schools. They are looking at applicants from all over the country, not just a couple different schools that you may be used to, and so they have to have their own system. So ultimately, what we want to do is we want to focus on a 3.0 unweighted, okay, or higher GPA, especially in our rigorous coursework. So we want to have B's or higher, okay? That is crucial, all right? Getting higher than a 3.0 is a good thing. So we want to make sure we're doing that. But that's sort of the minimum. So we want to make sure that, yes, we're taking rigorous coursework, but just because we're taking rigorous coursework doesn't mean the grades don't matter. The third step that we're going to discuss is preparation. This goes along with having a plan. why we don't want to just kind of, okay, we're finding ourselves, we're going through college. It's a lot of money to be to do that. And so yes, if you have money to, give your child that opportunity, that's a wonderful thing, but we don't want to have to burden them with debt or you with debt when they are having to figure out, right, while they're having to pay a $5,000 a semester tuition bill, along with room and board, along with a food plan, along with miscellaneous expenses, and let's not even get started on books, right? And tuition and fees for the university. There's many fees associated with it. So we want to make sure that we have a plan, we have a clear focus, we know what we're going to do when we actually get to college. And so to prepare, the first thing that we need to do is fulfill all requirements for your child's desired or favored college. This is crucial. Depending on where you're at, your high school, whether it's a private school, whether it's a public school, they're going to have certain requirements for their graduation, for your child to get a high school diploma at your school, state, whatever it may be, okay? But the university that you're applying to may have different standards, especially if it's out of state. So your high school may require just 3 years of math or just 3 years of English. However, the college that you're actually trying to apply for may require 4 of both. And so that senior year, you would have to then take another English, another math to meet those requirements for the out-of-state college or the college that is somewhere else that your child would like to go. So it's very, very important to do your homework and prepare and to know ahead of time, well ahead of time, as soon as you can. So if you have a sophomore or a junior or even a senior right now, you need to make sure you're figuring out, okay, what do we need to do for the school? And then do your best to try to, if it's taking a summer class, if it's, taking a class online, whatever it may be, but make sure that they're fulfilling all those requirements. So the individual school that your child is going to, make sure that all of the coursework that they need to get into that school is completed by the time they graduate. And this will save a lot of heartache and a lot of disappointment. One of the reasons that I actually got into this business with college and consulting is not only to help families, but also my family went through a pretty disappointing experience. My brother really wanted to go to a school out of state. And unfortunately, the diploma requirements in our state did not require 4 years of English. It only required 3. He had all the math, all the other electives, but he had to take 4 years of English, and he also had to have a fine arts credit. And he didn't have those 2 classes, so he was not able to get into the college that he wanted to. He just didn't fulfill the requirements. And so this was years and years and years ago, but it's one of those things that I thought about and reflected on and said, you know what, I don't want other families to go through a similar experience that my family went through, that my brother went through. It was very disappointing because you don't know what you don't know, right? And so that's why it's one of those things where it's really important to prepare, to do the research, and to really know what you're getting into. Another thing that is so important, and one of the things that I find to be pretty misleading out there is that, oh, it's okay, you can wait until your, late sophomore year, junior year to start studying for the SAT or ACT. That's not good advice. The best advice that I can give you is to start as soon as possible, okay? Procrastination in this case is not a good thing. You want to start as soon as possible. So whether you have a freshman or whether you have a senior, start now. And start now in terms of anything that you can afford. So if that's just simply getting a book from the bookstore or online or enrolling them in a class, whatever that your family is able to do, start preparing them for the SAT or ACT now, because more time always helps. All right? Do not wait. As soon as possible, begin that preparation. And again, whatever works best for your family is what you need to try and do. It could just be a simple book, and they study it, when they have time, on breaks, things of that nature. If it's more junior, senior at this point, they really need to make sure that they're working on that on a daily basis, because more time, more preparation is going to help increase their scores. Also, another important thing to do is if your child is taking AP classes or they're planning on enrolling in AP classes, it's really important to take the exams and to do as well as possible on those exams, because it shows the colleges and universities that the applicant is dedicated to their academics. Okay, another thing that's important to begin doing as soon as possible is building a rapport with teachers for recommendation letters. So you want to begin, your student wants to begin making sure that they have teachers that they have a relationship with, that know their work ethic, that know, how well they behave in class, the extra, mile that they go. Do they come in and get their makeup work done? Are they making sure they're turning in all of their work in on time? Do they show responsibility and dedication to their academics? That's what colleges want to see. They want to see a letter that has specifics and details. And so it's much better to have a letter from a teacher that actually knows your child and knows their work ethic than a teacher that maybe they got an A in their class, but they don't really have a rapport with them. They don't really know them all that well. So it's important, again, to make sure that your child is on task, doing what they need to be doing, building rapport, and starting to get those relationships now so that they can get those recommendation letters when they need them, right? And that they're showing, hey, listen, I am a good student and I'm doing my work and I'm dedicated and I'm responsible. I turn my work in on time. I do my best, study for the test. I come in and get extra help when I need it because they're committed to their education. So again, it's very important to have teachers that know your child's work ethic and personality to write the letters about. Now, the fourth step that we are going to talk about is specialization. And this is where encouraging your student to specialize in a specific area that interests them, that they're passionate about, is really important. Encourage your child to pursue their interests. So not only in academics, so make a list of subject areas that your student really likes, but also make a list of academic, not just academics, but extracurriculars. So this could be sports, this could be instruments, this could also be after-school activities. So if they're really interested in STEM, and maybe there's a robotics club, or they're very interested in chess, and so maybe they're in chess club, or they're interested in outdoors club, or whatever it may be, whatever clubs are offered, it's important to look at that and call up the school, ask the counselor, what can my child get involved in? And so let's see how those align with their interests. So really sit down and just make a list of a few things that could be interests that your student could try out. And again, even middle school, this is something that could be really beneficial, especially when they get to high school and they're trying this stuff out and they can see what they actually like. One of the myths that I feel like goes around, and that even when I was in high school trying to get ready for college, one of the kind of undue pressures I felt was that I needed to join as many clubs, as many extracurriculars, do as many things as I possibly could because colleges want to see that you just do everything. That is not true. Okay, it's a myth that colleges want Renaissance students, right? That they want students that can do everything and they can do everything perfectly and they're just just so wonderful at all things. That's totally and completely unreasonable. We know that not everyone is great at everything, right? And usually what that means is if they're trying to do all these different things, they're probably not doing anything really, really, really well, right? If they're doing 15 different things and trying to study and get good grades while taking academically rigorous coursework. I mean, there's a lot of pressure to put on these students. They also need to have a little bit of a life, have a little bit of fun, and be able to spend time with their families and spend time with their friends and socialize. That's an important aspect of growing up as well. We need to learn how to work in groups. We need to learn how to socialize. We need to learn how to make connections, communicate with people. So there's a balance. Balance is really important. And so when we try to do 15 things and try to do them perfectly, we're going to fall short, all right? And so we want to make sure that, again, we're not stressing students into a coma, but that they do have interests that they can pursue. So we're making these lists, we're discussing, opening up a dialogue, and then we're getting the students to try these things, okay? But it's important that you understand that colleges want to see students pursue and excel academically. That's first and foremost in an academically rigorous program in high school, and that they have 1 to 2 specialties. Now, again, these are basic guidelines. This is not necessarily that your child can only do 2 things. That's it. I'm not saying that. I knew kids in school, they did 3 things, right? They played a fall sport, they were in a club, and then they also played an instrument, okay? So not like we have to just have 2 things, but we want to try, and my point here is that we want to try and focus and say, what does my child really like? And they're going to change their interests along the way. They may have started liking dance when they were 6 or 7, and now they hate dance, but they like playing the violin. It depends on your child and their interests, their individual interests, and what they want to pursue. And that's really important. And again, academically, subject matter, we're pursuing that in terms of specialization, but we also need to look at some after-school activities. So maybe they want to do sports, maybe they want to be in a club, maybe they want to play an instrument, maybe they want to do a combination of those. It simply depends on their interests. But please don't try and, say, okay, my child has to do everything at all times. I feel like that's really just totally unreasonable, and colleges know that as well. So if they're doing well academically, they're taking academically rigorous coursework, and they play a sport that they excel in, and they also play an instrument. Oh, and they happen to be in the after-school robotics club, in the fall. That's wonderful. That shows that they have a broad range of interests and talents. They're dedicated. They're showing perseverance. They're showing hard work. That's what colleges want to see. And so, again, we need to try to specialize and focus, have a clear plan. Now, sway them with your writing. Our fifth step is presentation. This is so important, okay? Many schools are making short answer and essay questions optional, okay? And the reason why I have them in quotations there is because they are not optional. Do not think of them as optional, and do not allow your student to think of them as optional. They must complete the short answer and essay components of their applications. This is how students are able to set themselves apart. So don't let, oh, I don't have to complete that. It said it was optional in the parentheses next to the question. I don't have to. No, they must do it, because colleges and universities, admissions officers are looking at this to set the child apart, see what they are, see what they've done, see their writing style, and how they present themselves, okay? So they really need to make sure that they complete these, especially in the highly selective process that many colleges and universities around the country have. Make sure that the essay is able to stand out. Talk about overcoming challenges or obstacles that your child has overcome. Have them discuss that. Anecdotes and stories that are unique and interesting to your student. Now, again, it's also important to know our audience. Anytime you're writing, right, part of the writing process is to know who you're writing to and to know your audience. And so admissions officers are the audience that your student is writing to in their admissions essay. And they are in a time crunch, right? Many colleges and universities around the country are experiencing budget cuts. They have less staff to go through more applicants, okay, and more admissions applications. And so they're in a time crunch. They do not have time to read a 20-page dissertation. So we're not making this a super, super long essay, okay? We're making this short, to the point, okay, and something that is unique and interesting and really gets at the heart of your child's story and what makes them unique, what makes them them, okay? Another thing that I think is really important that we need to talk about is colleges and their goals, their needs, because they are an entity just like any other entity, and entities need money to survive. Okay, so colleges need money as well. And I'm not saying that there are not colleges out there that are not need blind, quote unquote, that's what they call it, is need blind, meaning they take as many students as they can and they offer financial aid to help them get their education, that they may not have access to because they don't have the money to pay for it. That is absolutely true. There are colleges out there that do this and they try to help. But the rule, okay, of thumb is that a college is just like any other entity. I mean, think about it this way. Even nonprofits, okay? If they have money, that leads to more buildings, which leads to a larger campus, which leads to more professors, which leads to better classes, which leads to, again, more students and alumni, which again leads to more tuition and more donations. Money. It's a cycle, okay? They need these things so that they can grow, so that they can be competitive, right? So that they get recognition. And so they want the money, and that's one of the things that we have to understand is that as parents, families, individual students, we want an education, and as colleges, they know that they have something that we want, right? We want their education, so then they're able to offer this at these prices, and we're paying them, okay? And so it's important to understand what they want, what they need, and so we need to kind of be on an equal playing field here, right? We need to understand it's the supply and demand, all right? And so not to just think of colleges as being completely altruistic and, oh, it's this wonderful system of higher education. Yeah, great. That's fabulous. And there are colleges out there that do help and do the best that they can to provide education for students that may not be able to afford it. But that's pretty much the exception, okay? It's not necessarily the rule of most universities. So it's just important to do some research, understand what we're doing, understand the plan, understand what your child wants to do, and look at schools that offer the best return on the investment, okay? So for example, I was going into teaching, And I knew that I wasn't going to be making a lot of money as a teacher. And I was okay with that. I love teaching. It's my passion. I enjoy it. But I knew I wasn't going to make a lot of money. Okay, that's just the heart of it. I have a wonderful life. I have a lot of time off. There's a lot of benefits of being a teacher. And so the trade-off, just like with anything, pros and cons, the trade-off is I don't make a lot of money. So I thought to myself, okay, do I need to attend an expensive private college or university? Or can I get an accredited education at an accredited school, get a degree, without having to go into mounds of debt that I'm going to have to pay off for years to come, get a job where I'm not making a huge amount of money, but hey, guess what? I don't have to pay off all this debt because I went to a college that was still accredited, right? Because again, regional accreditation is very important, all right? Still accredited, still got a degree, still was able to get a job. Okay, and I didn't have to spend $50,000 to do it. So it's really important that we look at what career path does our child want to get into, and what are some colleges that can offer them success in that career path without having to spend thousands and thousands of dollars. Because in a perfect world, we would love for our students to be able to attend Harvard and Vassar and Princeton and wherever else, but we may not be able to afford it, and we may need to be able to provide them with an education, but without having to saddle them with mounts of debt. So we offer the solution. We've talked about our 5 simple step process to college enrollment prep. Okay, we talked about making sure that the students are prepared, that they have a plan, that they present themselves well, that they have a specialty that they can go into both inside and outside of school. And so this right here is really the way that we can get at the heart of those interests and those specialties and really get our child on a path to success. And so we offer new and really revolutionary program, the personalized college pathway. It's personalized, it's individualized, it takes the complexity, okay, and the uncertainty out of college planning. So it's really revolutionizing the way that college and career choice is made. Now, what this program does is really help to align interests and aptitudes of the student with colleges, majors, financial aid, career paths, and provide students with a college coach. And so this program is for any parent who wants their child to attain a college degree without the crushing debt, without that $300 a month for 10 plus years, okay? It's also for any parent who wants their child to have career prospects after college. Knowing what they want to do and being able to go into that field because they have a degree that will lead there is crucial to them being successful. Because we all know that there is a massive, huge difference between a job and a career. A career is something that the student can grow into, have success, move forward. A job usually is pretty stagnant. And so we want careers that students go into after college, and they're prepared for those careers, and they're prepared to progress within those careers. Now, it is also, and this is really important, any parent who wants their child to have help and guidance, not just for the student, but also for you as a parent, because along the process, you have questions, you have concerns. How am I going to pay for this? What is the best school? What does my child want to do? What's out there? And the resources that exist right now are extremely scattered. They're all over the place. There's not a cohesive one place, find the information, get the answers, and feel better and good and right about the decisions that are being made. Students at 17 and 18 years old are making crucial decisions that can impact the rest of their lives. And so wouldn't it be nice to have some guidance, some insight, knowledge, resources to give us the knowledge to make the best decisions, right? As the students, but also as the parents, helping those students and guiding them. So we provide guidance through college coaches as well as through our myriad of resources to provide that insight and guidance so that you and your child can make the best and most informed decision. So what you receive with the personalized college pathway is a 20 to 30 minute online assessment. We are all about ease of access. We want this to be simple. We want it to be accessible. We want it to be something that the students can get on, take the assessment, and move forward, right? Get the answers and the resources that they need. And so it's 20 to 30 minutes, not a lot of time. It's online. They can access it on their own time. And the student will then take the assessment, which gauges their interests and aptitudes. It then aligns those interests and aptitudes from this simple, easily accessible online assessment to best colleges, majors, and career options, giving them personalized matches to the answers that they had based on those interests and aptitudes. Now, the aligned colleges, majors, and careers, this is huge, okay? Students receive detailed information about their interests and aptitudes. So what interests them? All right, what are some fields that they could go into based on those interests? What are some majors? What are some colleges? And another important thing too is that it opens up a dialogue between the student and the parent, right? Where do you want to go to school? Where do you as a parent want your child to go to school? What are the costs associated with that? And so the child will actually type in, and you as well will type in where you want the student to go, and it will give you options within that area. So it's personalized for your child. Now, the information provides insight, knowledge, to make the best and most informed decisions about colleges and majors, because it provides you with individualized results that are aligned to those interests and aptitudes from the assessment. Students will receive occupational outlooks about many different careers. So they have bright outlook careers, careers that are going to be in demand now, in demand in the future. It'll also give them recommendations on careers that they may not have considered. All right, and so they can research those careers, and then there'll be associated careers with those. And so it really just opens up an entirely new world of possibilities that the student may not have known about. And they can do some research all in one place that will give them the best and most informed, or that will allow them, rather, to make the best and most informed decision. They will also receive information on salary. They will receive information on geographic locations. Students can type in zip codes and see, okay, what are some of the jobs that are available right now, and what are the salaries for those jobs? All of this is crucial. Another really important thing that we offer is virtual tours online. So many of the colleges, not all yet, and we're working on that, but many of the universities and colleges actually have a virtual tour that the students and parents can see the campus and the different locations through our virtual tours that we offer. This is a way that you can look at the school and say, okay, I kind of like this one, let's put this one on the list. And many times what families will do, they will actually go to various campuses and look at the various campus, take a tour at that can cost hundreds and hundreds of dollars. And if you're going to multiple campuses, we're talking in the thousands. And so this could be a potential way to save a little bit of money and say, you know what, these two campuses really don't work. I really like this one. Let's just go and see this one, because I've done the research. I see they have the major that I want. I've also looked online, the virtual tour. It looks pretty good, and so let's go and see just this one, as opposed to going and see 2 and 3. That could be something to think about. So these virtual tours are really a crucial aspect of what we offer. We also offer links to financial aid. So the student will receive matches to financial aid, both local and national scholarships and grants, all in one easy to access place. Again, we are all about ease of use. We want this to be accessible, simple. We want it to be something that you and your child can access and get information on all in one place. When I was going to school and trying to find scholarships and grants, it was a nightmare. I had to sign up on all these different websites, try to get all these different scholarships. They're sending me all kinds of emails. I mean, it's just a mess. I'm applying for all of these. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. I don't really know what's out there locally. I'm having to scour all kinds of, online websites, banks, this and that. It was a mess, right? And so this is something where it is a service that really targets the student, both national and local scholarships all in one place. So we're not having to scour the internet, sign up for a million different, scholarship websites. That's not necessary with this program. Okay. College coaches will also provide tips on how to fill out FAFSA and tips on maximizing your chances for your child to get those scholarships. So the personal college coach, this is really, really important. We offer the coaching and the guidance that parents and families, students need, because the colleges, the choices, the tests, all the processes involved can be pretty overwhelming. And so each family, each child, student, parent receives an experienced personal college coach that they will be able to ask questions to, and that the college coach can provide them with guidance and answers to those questions. And so it's really, again, personalized. That's why we call it the personalized college pathway, because it's something that ultimately, we believe in the technology aspect of it, but there's also a human element too. Sometimes when you're feeling overwhelmed, you kind of just want to be able to have your questions answered. So, one of the things that I researched extensively when I was entering into this space was the competition, because, as a business owner, I want to be able to provide a service that is competitive, that is something that people want, that people need, but also at an affordable, reasonable price to help families. And so when I did some research on the competition, I found that there's really nothing out there that's exactly like our program. There are things that are similar. And so there are people that offer one-on-one college coaching, which, again, we do provide a personalized college coach. And so they can provide an assessment, but usually it would have to be in your area. They would have to go to the site. It's not as easily accessible as ours. And another thing is the cost is astronomical. Thousands of dollars we're talking about. I mean, you're talking about a semester, possibly two worth of tuition, depending on the school you go to. I, in my research, saw anywhere between $500 and $3,600, depending on the service. So if you applied to multiple colleges, they want more and more money. So the $500 was like a one college, here you go, here's some, tips. It was just really, really, really not a lot for what you're paying. And so the college consultants that are out there are charging an enormous amount of money, but they, again, do not provide the interest and aptitude alignment via an objective testing, okay, on an easy-to-access online platform. So, again, ease of use. We want this to be affordable, but we also want it to be something that's easily accessible and that puts everything in one place so that we're not scattered, we're not going all around doing 15 different things. We can't remember our password for the one website that we signed up on to get scholarships, and we're having to then resend it, and it's taking hours. It's all in one place, okay? So we would encourage you, if you have any, concerns, please go out, do some research. When I was doing research, I was shocked. I just couldn't even believe it, and as a teacher, obviously I'm thinking to myself, oh my goodness, how can these people be charging this much money, to families who they just need a little bit of help, guidance, they want some answers, and they're gouging them, and it's unfortunate. And so I would just, again, encourage you to research it yourself, see what we mean, see what else is out there. If you feel like that's a better fit, absolutely, that's what we want. We want to help. And so we try to offer a service. And again, the information is all out there. I just did, a Google search, and I found a lot of the prices were pretty high. And so ultimately our goal is to save you money, not charge an entire semester's worth of tuition. So we believe every child should have access to an affordable higher education. And that's what we're trying to do. So with ordering the personalized college pathway today, we have some special bonus offers that, again, will help you and your child along the process. So we offer a college preparation checklist. This is an in-depth checklist that, again, can help keep you on and your child on the right track. We will also offer a PDF of the 5-step college enrollment blueprint. So this basically is just an easy to read. It gives a plan of action. It gives the steps. It gives some interesting facts, information. And so that will be included in the order. But I kind of want to, before we get into, the cost associated, I want to just kind of ask, how much is saving 1 to 2 years of tuition, fees, and even textbooks worth to you? So like we talked about, a traditional 4-year degree is now taking nearly 6 years for most people, okay, or 6 years for most people. And so even if the student just went one more semester, even if this potentially could save you just one semester because they had a clear plan, a clear focus when they started, they knew what they wanted to do, they knew they were going to go into a career field that they really loved, that they enjoyed, right? It was once said that if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life, right? And that's very true, right? We spend almost a third of our lives at work. And so we really need to like what we do, or it's rough, okay? And so as parents, as educators, we want students to go out and find careers that are fulfilling and that they enjoy and that they love and that they want to stay in and that they want to be in, that they are excited about going to work in the morning, right? That is crucial. That is so, and that is impactful. That's meaningful, in their lives. And so if they know that they're going to go into a career that they really enjoy, that they're going to love based on their interests, based on this personalized program, and they have this clear plan, this could potentially save them in the future 1, 2, 3, 4 semesters worth of tuition, fees, books. That's less debt that they're going to have to take on. And so, how much is saving that worth to you? So, I mean, the way that I think about it is if I, go to even a public college, let's just say $2,500 for a semester's of tuition if I'm taking a full load of coursework. So 12 to 15 credits, let's say. Textbooks, believe it or not, on average, a college student is paying approximately $600 per semester. Now, that's an average, so it could be a little bit more, it could be a little bit less, but about $600 per semester. That's a lot, right? So if they're just one semester, so 25 for tuition, 600, let's say, for textbooks. And then we also are going to have fees. So I remember when I used to get my tuition statement, and there would be probably 3 or 4 lines just with fees, technology fee, university police fee, there was just all kinds, the EPA fee. I mean, there was all kinds of fees, okay, associated with attending university. And so these fees, they add up. So even if we just have $200 worth of fees, which is pretty conservative if you've ever seen a tuition bill, so we're talking well over $3,000 at this point. So potentially just saving one semester, how much is that worth, right? Talking about an investment. If I can spend a little bit of money now, but to save all that money in the future and provide my child with a life that they really like, right? That they're going to be interested in and have passion about, and they're going to have a career, and they're going to be able to get a job. What a novel idea. They go to school, they can get a job. Because we've done our research, we've prepared, we have a clear plan and a clear focus. And just kind of alleviating the stress and the uncertainty and the, just what am I going to do? Because when you're 17 or 18, you kind of need a little help, you need a little guidance. And so, just alleviating that stress and uncertainty, what is that worth? And I mean, can you really even put a price on it? And so we offer the personalized college pathway for $295. So it is retail priced at $495. And you have the potential, like we talked about, to save thousands of dollars, even if it's just one semester that they're able to not have to attend longer because they had this plan in place. And so what I offer with the $295 is all of the services, the assessment, the college coach, the career information, college information, major information, financial aid information, all in one easily accessible online platform. But I also offer a 100% money back guarantee. This is my personal guarantee. If you take action now and you aren't completely satisfied with what you learn and experience and receive, let us know, let me know. We will either make it right, or if you don't feel that we can make it right, or we can't make it right, I will make sure that you get a full refund on your money, okay? But we know that you will love the program and ultimately see the benefit. So with the money back guarantee, it's really a no-brainer offer. I mean, we are offering a free checklist. We're offering the free PDF in addition to the program itself, okay? So this is, and if we kind of go back to this slide, this is a $620 value with the things that are being offered. And so you're saving over $325. So $295. This is less than half, okay, of one semester of textbooks on average. Less than half, right? This is not a lot of money to ultimately save the stress, the uncertainty, the money in the future, and sanity, right? Because it can be really overwhelming, frustrating, and it can really cause a lot of strain. And so what we're going to do is, we're offering the program for $295, but for the holidays, we know that there's lots of costs associated with the holidays, and so this is something that ultimately, yes, we want to do as soon as possible. We want to start studying for the SAT as soon as possible. We want to start planning as soon as possible. And so with the holidays coming up, we're offering 2 investments of $159. So if you order now, this is something that you can have access to immediately with the first payment of $159 and then a second month of another $159. So it's a really, really amazing deal. And again, it's because, I want to make sure that you get access to this as soon as possible. And I know that there's a lot of costs associated. So if you have any questions, if you have any concerns, if you have anything that you need answers to, please feel free to email me at the link. I did get a question that I have on the side here, and it actually is about the assessment. And so, and then the college coach afterward. And so they wanted to know, well, what happens? Do we need to, go? Is there like this facility? So what it actually is they take the assessment online. They get the results sent to them, usually within a 24 to 48-hour period. So it's pretty quick. And then the college coach will actually call you. And it will be either online, you will have email contact with them, you can chat with them. So on the dashboard, once you sign up, you can actually chat with the coach. And then you can also talk to them on the phone. So there's access to them all the time. So it's not something where you actually have to go to a facility to get this. It's something that you can have access to them via chat, via email, via telephone conversation. So again, ease of access. So that I think is a really important question on kind of how does the program work. So if you're interested in ordering, on the page that you are on now, there should be a button that says, I want the college pathway. If you click there, it'll actually take you to this link, the link below. So that is the URL. So if you type that in, it'll take you directly to the page. Or like I said, you can click on the button and actually go there now and take advantage of this offer. It's not going to last, especially with the installment fee. This is something that we're trying to do. We know the holidays, but again, we're trying to work with people. So please, feel free to email me if you have any questions or concerns. Ultimately, we are here to help you and your child. So if you have any questions, any concerns, please again email me. I really appreciate everyone coming out today. I really appreciate everyone participating, and I really hope that you find that you found this in a time of need, that you really got some answers, and that this was insightful, and that you can move forward with the personalized college pathway to really help connect your child with their best future. So have a wonderful, wonderful day, and thank you again.